a faith that hasn't been tried can't be trusted. And it's like, so the trying of your faith is actually the proving and the revelation of it.
Welcome to the Created to Be podcast. We are back, and it feels good to be back. Justin is here today.
Yes, it's good to be back.
Doc is, of course, with us.
Yes, really good to be back.
Really good to be back. It's
really
been
good.
Like a, 6-7 week hiatus. We're going to get into that in a second. Brandy is unfortunately under the weather, so we're missing her.
She sounded like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Well, if you followed our social media, you'll know that we took a break. We needed to upgrade our equipment for the podcast because our microphones were jacked up. So we are upgraded. So I hope that makes for a better listening experience. It's making it a little easier to record. So we're excited about that. I also had to have a surgery, and we're not going to get into that because this podcast is not about me.
Bethany got upgraded too. It's great. We're all upgraded, ready to roll.
We're all upgraded. Nothing life-threatening, but something that we had to take a moment to take a break from and recover, heal. So I'm thankful to be back. It is really great. The last podcast we did was Becoming Honest with Maddie Anderson, and that was it was great. We had to piece something together for that week, and it's great that we had kind of like her story and testimony in the vault that we could bring back, and she sent a little clip. But the unfortunate part of that is that it's Doc's phrase to say, I'm just being honest.
Just being honest.
And we did not get to have a podcast about being honest from Darius's perspective. So we're gonna table that. We'll probably come back to that. Like, we have a worship night coming up soon, so there's things that we can fit it back in, Darius.
Okay.
But
I'm along for the ride.
I was a
need.
little disappointed that we couldn't talk about that with you. But so thankful for Maddie. She is playing soccer in France, and she was a soccer player here.
It's good to have Maddie's voice back in the mix.
Yeah.
She's been such a pillar over here for so many years, so it's been different not having her.
And it's really nice that we have upgraded equipment because our equipment failed on the podcast with Taylor, and literally had to do that entire podcast with a voice memo, passing my phone around. So we're in a much better spot now. But we're excited to be back. A few FCA updates we want to give, and Justin, I'll let you speak to this if you want here in a second. I just want to shout out our sponsors for the FCA Legacy Luncheon that will be, this is going to come out on Tuesday, so it will be in the final stretch preparing for the annual Legacy Luncheon. It's just an opportunity to get people in the room with athletes and coaches and former athletes and coaches and donors, board members, community members, just people that invest in this ministry, and all be in one space so where we can celebrate the work that God is doing through FCA at Mississippi State. And want to shout out our title sponsor, Farm Bureau Health Plan, and then our big dog sponsors, Magnolia Asphalt, Jerry and Jackie McBride, and Stephen and Jennifer Palmer. We're thankful for every single sponsor that we have that has purchased tables, many people that have come to this for years, and so we're thankful for all those people who have contributed to make this day possible. Do you want to say anything about it?
Great businesses, great, even better people, and thankful that they have our backs and are supporting us. Yeah, we're just excited. It's a great time to get around the room and share stories of what God's doing and hear from athletes and coaches, and we just try to get out of the way and let that happen.
So we have a lot of silent auction items this year that...
And live. We're going to have a live auction for the first time. We've always wanted to kind of do that, I think, but I thought we'd maybe do it in a dinner setting type deal, but we're going to throw it in there for lunch and see how it goes. We got some amazing items that have been donated that we're really excited for people to get to experience.
Yeah, so the silent auction link will be in the podcast notes, so if you're interested in checking out any of those items. But big time note on that is that they will transition to in-person live auction and in-person silent auction, so you need to be at the event if you want to guarantee what you've bid on.
Or send somebody to bid for you.
Or send somebody. Yeah. So we're excited about that. And Darius, you didn't get to join us last year, so I'm excited for you to be in the room this year.
Yeah, I'm excited. I was a little sad I wasn't there last year. Had something else going on, but I'm really looking forward to being a part of the luncheon, just to be in the environment, get to see and also experience a lot of the different testimonials, and then meet the people that are supporting a lot of the things that we're doing, put names with faces. You hear a lot of names and different things, so I'm excited about that part.
Yeah, and you know what? This is what Mary Ashley, our intern, was in here, and I did not know she used to work in a gift shop. So we were taking pictures of the items and we were bagging items, and she just happened to say, well, yeah, I was in a gift shop. Because I was like, how does she know how to place things?
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, oh, no, I've messed up. Because I was like, oh, now that I know that about you. And so now that we know Darius has great stage presence just from the variety of things that he's doing, we're putting him in the program.
Yeah.
You're going to get put to work here.
He's
You gonna get to
also-
put to work
That's
here.
right. That's right.
In honor of the national championship game, he's going to sing One Shining Moment as
Yes.
well. Just out of the blue in the middle of the whole thing.
Man, that was, we got together with FCA and we only made it to about halftime with the group that came on Monday. But Darius, when he sat down, he started singing that song. I got like giddy. Like that is like the most nostalgic thing of my life is that because we would just watch the tournament as a family all leading up to, I don't know why, it was just like such a big deal to watch the One Shining Moment
Yeah,
song and thing.
it's so paramount. It's like it's almost like waiting on the confetti to fall. But it's like if I don't see that portion of it, something feels like it's missing.
Yeah,
I know
but it
it's-
just keeps getting later and later.
I know, so
And
much
later.
so-
We're getting older and older, and
Right.
it's like, ugh.
So much so that I'm like, all right, enough with the presentation.
Yeah,
Get
let's
to
get
one
to-
shining moment. We used to do an event at Mississippi College where we would have the game and some other activities and cook and stuff like that. And people would be, at that point, people would be cleaning up and everything. And I would go sit and I would just like wait. I was waiting. I was like, I don't care how long I have to wait. And it's one of those things where you can watch it later, but it's just something for me about the night. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, that's the end
moment.
cap.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. You know, I'm
Well,
probably.
they have to wait because they're editing all that fresh
Well,
video.
sure.
like,
And that's what was
right
so
then.
impressive. If you haven't seen it, I was telling Justin, some of the slow-mo stuff that they can do with cameras now, like the editing part was
I want to meet those people.
incredible.
I want to meet those
Yeah.
people.
Man, that's crazy.
But
how
then
they
I
can do
did
it.
tell him, if I find out this was edited with AI, I'm going to be a little upset. Like if AI can do as good of a job, because I'm like, surely a person did that. That was really impressive. So
We hope.
yeah, we hope. We also have the pickleball open, the FCA Open on May 2nd. Brandy is running that, and we're excited for that. We had to postpone, and so that has an official date, and that event is on our website, msufca.org, where you can find all the information. It's just doubles only, and so that should be pretty exciting.
Don't get upset with me.
Okay,
I'm gonna be honest.
be honest.
I do not know what pickleball is.
Oh, wow.
Like at all,
I-
like you have no idea in your
I
head right
have
now.
no idea. I've been hearing everyone talk about it. People are getting so excited. I've even been invited to play. And I'm like, but it's really because I don't know what pickleball is. So I had to be honest because I'm tired of going through this blockade of not knowing and
So it-
everybody's excited.
So
and
just
I'm like,
expose it on the podcast.
It is
That's
like miniature tennis. I know that sounds
Okay.
really bad. Miniature
Okay.
tennis. You have a smaller racket. It's like a paddle. All right,
Yeah,
in
it's
some
more like
ways,
a
more like a
paddle.
paddle. And the ball is not a tennis ball. It's actually like a wiffle ball. Or does that
Gotcha.
help you a little bit?
Yeah.
It's a thicker wiffle ball.
okay.
And so you can't just like smoke it at people. I mean, you can, but it's harder to control.
Control,
kind of.
yes. Is it so? It's like a bigger ping pong.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're moving and it's.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's good.
I
And
mean,
everybody
I-
can play. The good thing about it is that everybody can play. Like our kids can play. Folks that are in their 80s can play.
Well,
I mean, you can-
that's what I was kind of, because I know a lot of older people do that to stay active. Not older, but seasoned. They do that to stay
yeah.
active, you know. And so
Great.
I've been hearing about it a lot, but I was like, and I never looked it up on YouTube or TikTok or anything, but I was like, I got to get this past me.
I
you
gotta
know,
get-
because a part of me want to play. I'm a competitor, but at the same time, I don't like to lose. So it's like, I don't want to do something that, you know.
Okay, here's something, okay, because I have this written on my notes. I think that we should start incorporating into the podcast in some way, shape, or form is some kind of challenge, right? So it would be best if people that are listening, you know, throw some ideas out there, but we'll just generate them at first until we can get some people on board with this. And maybe people aren't interested enough to know if, you know, Justin won something or Bethany won something, but we're going to try. And I had mentioned playing Darius one-on-one, but he has a problem playing ladies.
Yeah, I can't do it.
And so, anyway, basically, you just can't go full throttle against a lady.
Yeah, I just can't do it. I just have a lot of respect. You know,
One-on-one basketball, to be clear. I don't know if I said that.
Yeah, it's I just have a lot of respect. Times I've did it in the past, I couldn't get up for it. It's like I'm gonna tell you a real quick story. So we have a court back home. It's an outside court. We call it Front Street. And everybody goes there. And so we goes to this court, we play a game, we win. Well, it's like we playing like 4-on-4, 5-on-5, I couldn't remember, but after we won the game, we got this. It was a lot of people out there. The next game includes a team with a young lady who's going to college to play. So because I'm the shortest one out there,
You got to guard her.
she has to guard me. And I'm like, and this is the thing. Every time I get the ball, the crowd is like hyped.
Right.
She's trying to like be all, all tough defensively, and I'm looking at her, and every time I get the ball, I couldn't get up. I would just pass it. Like, I wouldn't even try until she kept on pushing, and then people in the crowd, he's scared,
Right.
And eventually, I just did one little move, and I got her. Look, she jumped in the air. I went past her.
You broke her ankles.
I didn't break her ankles, but I'm going to say this. I planted a seed.
That you could.
That I could and that I would if she keep. And once I done that, I literally pump fake. She jumps up in there. I goes around her. So now she's trying to keep up. When she comes back to where I am, I just pulled it back. And so she's kind of like sliding. And I passed the ball and I looked at her like, stop. And that was it.
Enough.
It's like.
Okay, so I have a question for you, Justin, because you've played me one-on-one multiple times, and then at Mississippi College we used to play
This is
2-on-2,
also my wife.
3-on-3. That's my
Wow.
question. That was my question. You would play me straight up.
100%.
Yeah, like you weren't going to let me have any
No.
wiggle. But like if it was another female, would you have a problem with that? Do you understand what Darius is saying?
I do. I think if a female is willing to throw her body in the mix, then there you go. We'll
Game
play.
on.
But if I don't know. I think it depends on the energy that she's giving off
Gotcha.
Yeah.
that makes me comfortable or not.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah, for you, no big deal
Yeah.
because we compete all the time.
Yeah.
I would be a little more of a question for me for somebody else.
So I played on the scout team mainly whenever I was on the team. But if we did have to go against the guys and I wasn't, if I wasn't on the scout team, like I guess it was just so, like they were just part of our practice that I didn't really think about it very much. And then as a female, if you are trying to get better at what you do, there is a certain point where maybe the other female competitors aren't quite pushing you the same way that a guy could. And so it's helpful to have guys that can help you elevate to another level of toughness. And even in running, like I noticed that, like I would run with the guys. Of course, they're not physically like having to play defense and stuff like that against me, but it is a point where
Yeah,
you
it
have
depends
that.
on the skill, like the skill set. Like if this is a girl that's played a lot of basketball or knows it, like, shoot, yeah, let's play, because I respect the ability, and like I don't want to be a chump in that way. I mean, if I'm playing one of these, a girl that's played in college or been good in high school or whatever, like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
if it's somebody that had played a whole lot, I don't want,
Well,
whatever.
and I guess that's what I didn't have that situation a lot coming up. Like, we had a few girls that were, like, really, really good, but most of the time they wasn't as good as, to really compete. It's almost like you said, they would give you more of a challenge, but sometimes for us, it's almost like it's taking us a step down. So
Yeah.
when we go against guys, you kind of having to, so I just never been that person. But I wanted to make it clear because it's not like I'm saying like, no, like it wasn't that. It's just mentally, I just can't do it. Like, now.
So I bring this up because, see, like that might not be a good situation, but pickleball,
Pickleball's
Yeah, it's a
different.
little different.
we gotta have maybe like a little staff outing and see how this goes down, in preparation for the
But
Open.
I'll play you.
In pickleball or basketball?
Basketball.
Okay, you heard it
I'll
on the
play you.
podcast.
Yeah.
But if I win, he can't be like, well, I just couldn't go against you. Like,
I wouldn't do that.
okay.
I wouldn't speak it. We all have things internally we know. We just don't speak it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm-
I
I'm
see. I'll do
joking,
the
I'm
same
joking.
for you.
No,
I'll do
yeah,
the same for you.
exactly.
But there's also a point when if you're starting to get beat, you need to
unleash
the beast a little bit. Like,
you got like, I can't go out like this.
I can't go out like this.
That's the worst feeling when you get beat and you didn't push, and it's like, but now that person has that ability to just hang it over your head. You know.
Yeah, I won't do that to you.
I don't believe it.
Oh, she'll totally mention it.
I believe it. I believe she
multiple
will.
times.
Oh my goodness!
And it'll show up in that little smile right there.
It's a smirk.
She may not say anything at all.
Yeah.
It's
petty.
I do.
Smirk.
Look, whenever I have, like, there's some times where you can just be in the zone where anything you throw up goes in. And if I get in that zone, I do laugh a lot because it's just like, I don't
know what I'm doing.
I don't know. And this is crazy. So, maybe that'll happen whenever we play. Okay, so we missed a lot over the past 6 weeks. Obviously, I watched a lot of the Olympics and I watched a lot of March Madness because I was out on short-term disability for a little bit.
Good time to be out.
Yeah, that was I don't think I was strategic on that front, but it
most
worked out
men like
great.
to be out starting tomorrow for the Masters.
Right, if they have to schedule something.
Yep.
Yeah, so it worked out in my favor, but we missed a lot of things. So I just wanted to see, Darius, I wanted to ask you, did you watch the Olympics?
This year I didn't watch much of the Olympics.
Yeah.
I didn't. And I'm kind of shocked because how I knew I was missing a lot was you.
Oh.
Like if you post something on Instagram
Yeah.
or something, I'm like, where am I? What am I doing?
What am I
like
doing?
I'm just missing out on a lot of different things. I think I did catch some of the stuff that they would post or that they would broadcast on like ESPN.
Yeah.
Like some of the great things like the hockey. I was able to see some of those highlights and different things. But as far as just keeping up with it like I've done in the past, I didn't do that this time. So
Yeah. Well,
I kind of feel bad because I don't feel like I represented my country. That's such a...
I was fully immersed. It was great because, there's normally not much to watch in the actual afternoon hour, morning, mid-morning, afternoon. Yeah. And there was live events that were legit, I would want to sit there and watch it all day kind of thing. So it worked out pretty good. But I did want to I did comment on social media about a few things, and I kind of did want to make a disclaimer, but I didn't want everybody to know I had surgery. I don't know. So it was this weird thing of I want to comment because this is my life right now. Yeah. But at the same time, I need you to know I'm not just
just out
obsessed.
Here. Yeah.
But kind of, anyway. No, I wanted to see so for the stretch time today, I wanted to talk about the Olympics and some things about March Madness, but I wanted to see if you knew this about the USA hockey team. Just some moments that stood out to me. There's a lot of moments that stood out to me, but storylines that were just unbelievable. And one was obviously hockey. I did not realize that they had not won since the Miracle Team in 1980, which just blows my mind that we have not won gold. But the thing that happened at the end of that game that just was unbelievable is that they all get together and gather for a picture after the game. And there was a teammate who had passed away, him and his brother, tragically in a cycling accident, that his family was there and his two little girls were there in the audience. And the USA hockey team had enough awareness that they skated off while they're taking their team picture with their, in celebration afterwards, got the two little girls, Gaudreau is his last name, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Johnny Gaudreau.
And came back and took a picture with those two little girls in the picture and holding up his jersey.
Wow.
And I lost it.
Yeah.
I was fully immersed in that story. I didn't know that, first of all, that he had passed, but I didn't know if you had heard of that.
No, I hadn't heard of that, but to be that thoughtful, that considerate, and then to keep his memory, a part of what they did, and to bring his children into it, that's different. Yeah. That's different.
Yeah, it was him and his brother that were killed,
right.
and then it was the day before his sister's wedding.
Right.
Just to make it
really?
Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
I think it was back in April or something.
It was August 24.
Oh, okay. I thought it was, I guess, the
end of August 24.
Yeah, so that was a storyline that I wondered that I felt deserved a little stretch.
Oh, dude, you're watching it, and then you're just losing it. When they emotionally, it's oh my gosh!
They were skating off the court. I was like, "What are they doing?" I was like, "Oh gosh, y'all are gonna rip me up right now."
Yeah,
yeah. And then that was courageous for his family because most people try to avoid like just because of grief. I don't want to really kind of be around.
I think
some of that.
they
But
talked about that.
But
They
that
didn't
was
really wanna go.
amazing that they could even still go and be there
Right.
and even bring the children
It's
and still.
the family piece of sports, man, that's unmatched.
Man,
You know,
yeah.
Yeah, there was another cool story, which was Alana Myers-Taylor. She is a bobsledder, and she had won every other color medal and she's 40, over 40 maybe, I don't know her exact age, but she has 2 young boys that are deaf, and so that's just a unique part of her story. And so she's a mom, but also trains as a bobsledder, and she won in the monobob event and got to celebrate like with her boys and everything out there. So that was like just a really cool storyline. I didn't know if you saw that.
Not didn't.
And another lady that does the bobsled won the 2-man bobsled. I'm pretty sure she won. Or she got bronze, I believe. But
She's also a mom.
She's also a mom and over 40.
yeah.
There was a I won't get too much into his story, but there's a snowboarder who was 40. So it was pretty inspirational knowing, I'm 38, Justin's 40. I'm like, look, we're not,
Well, how do you?
I mean,
think
we're not
felt,
Olympians.
How do you think I felt in the meeting last week when I was talking about being athletic? Like
The staff meeting is what you're referring to.
I'm the staff meeting. I'm like, I'm getting older, but I still got something left in the tank. And so these stories you're giving me is just more
fuel.
inspiration. Like
Right.
I've been going to the gym. Now I'm hearing about, gold medal might be next on my list.
That's right.
I may be training for the Olympics. I'm getting inspired right now.
Yeah, you should be. Our kids were
Inspired or expired?
Look, inspired. Let's put that inspired.
our kids who don't currently go out and like do extra training for sports they can do in Mississippi, where like we want to be ice skaters, we want to do curling. I'm like, why don't you show me some incentive for sports you can do here before we go out of our way to drive 2 hours to an ice skate rink?
Wow.
Anyways, but that's what I feel like that does. And March Madness feels the same way. There's like these inspiring stories.
Man.
And one of them, I loved it. Did you catch any of the High Point game?
Now
First
I
one?
was totally locked into all of the March Madness. Now,
Okay, so did
I
you
didn't
see
miss
the
that.
High Point game?
I did.
Okay,
I
and so
did.
the guy that made his first 2
2
point
point yes.
field goal to win the game,
That's crazy.
and he could just jack up threes and like
I was amazed because I've seen Steph Curry do some stuff, but I never thought I would see somebody that would make me feel like they could do what he did.
He shot quick, man.
And this guy's unconscious. Like, and it's to the point where it's like, it almost looked like AI.
Yeah.
Like he's just throwing the ball up, but you could tell he knows and his teammates know because they don't get upset. The coaches is not hollering because he hit one shot. It's like 2 steps across half court and he just
jacked it up. And you're
all
like,
net.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh god, like shot selection,
And then when they said he made the 2-pointer, it was amazing because while he was doing it, I was nervous.
yeah.
I'm like, he done shot so many threes. I don't know how this is, but
But that was unbelievable. I really couldn't even wrap my mind around it. Like I was like, are they sure? Did the stat person get this right? There's no way this
He
is
did
his
a whole
first.
season.
Yeah, crazy. But the part I wanted to highlight was afterwards in the interview. Did you see the coach's interview?
Yes, he was intense.
He was so intense, and I'm not making fun of his intensity. It was just he was so passionate
That
and
was
fired
like,
up.
nobody plays us.
Right.
We can't get anybody on schedule.
Right.
Yeah.
He was like, but they have to play us now. They have to play us now.
And the next game they lost. But,
But it makes a good point that like why
just be like, just say thank you. It's good. Like, man, we had a good time.
Yeah, but what do you think about that though? Like that coaches don't play those teams. Are they scared? Do they think it won't be? Because net rake, whenever I was playing, and I feel like it was simpler. Like there's so many metrics now that go into who gets in the tournament. Used to it was like you just got to get 20 wins. Like, but now it's like, well, that 20. Well, like, what was your preseason? Like, what was your non-conference schedule?
What
like?
quad are they in?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I've never heard these words before.
Yes.
And so but why do teams not play teams like his team?
I mean, I think it's gonna be some truth on both sides. Some of them I think don't want to play them, and then some of them I think they don't think they will present a challenge. So it's like, okay, if I'm Mississippi State, I'm just gonna use an example. Why would I play High Point if I could play, I'm just going to say Michigan State.
Sure.
Like, in my mind, I'm thinking High Point. Like, and some of these teams, whether we agree or not, we don't know that they're good until March
The
Madness.
tournament, yeah.
Like, we don't know starting the year off. Last year you went 10-25, and then this year you actually are a really good team. We don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's kind of like when he did that, I understood, but it was almost like me being short and having the small man syndrome. It's like you take everything personal. Like, it's like, come on now, High Point. Like, some people, if you ask people where is High Point located, we wouldn't know.
North Carolina.
It's North Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
They played a game on that they had why can't I think of it, mascots on the screen, and like Charles Barkley, and then they tried to guess which was I was trying to do that too. But that's what's cool about March Madness is you find out about these teams.
A lot of teams, yes.
That you've never heard about.
I think some of the coaches can take it personal, but at the same time, there is a lot of truth to it because I think they avoid them. Like, there's some really good teams out there that people kind of know. I mean, they know quite a bit. Like, these teams that do have March Madness runs are going to be really good.
Yeah.
And so you try to avoid. Someone may want to avoid it and get a little bit lesser opponent because they know they have another, like a ACC Big Ten challenge, something coming up.
And
so they'd rather not have High Point right before that, you know?
Yeah.
Or if you have a team where you don't really know, but especially I've noticed, like, sometimes playing teams that are like that, like, could buy you time as you're piecing together your roster, but if you get beat by them versus like a Michigan
that's
State,
gonna set you back.
a Michigan State loss,
It's not a bad loss.
Yeah.
but you're like, oh, this mid-major beat us, and it can really impact.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's the reward to play a team like that and lose? So, like, if you look
high
at it that
risk,
way,
low reward.
yeah, and so that's part of it too, and that's partly why that coach is as fired up as he is. And I'm sure there are many other things. I don't know the scheduling stuff, but
it would be cool if they would include some of those in some of these before conference play starts. They have a lot of. I've noticed this year was a lot more like tournament style or like classics or whatever.
And even in those though, they still don't put the high points in.
That's what I'm
Power
saying.
Force.
Yeah, like it's still like
Power Force.
yeah, it's still and I mean, like, what I was thinking about that. You think about it, you lose to them, you lose into a High Point. This is what you've lost because most of the time they're coming to you.
And they're going to give you their best shot too.
They're going to give you their best shot.
Yeah.
So you got to think, you done lost millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Cost myself potentially a chance of getting in the tournament. Like, it's just, and then if I beat you, I really don't get. I don't get anything for this. So it's it's a little.
But they do.
But I think that's what makes March Madness though so great because you get because it was he actually referred to another coach, I think of the Miami, Ohio, who was undefeated, and he was like. He said some of the similar stuff. No one would play us, but then they played Tennessee and get smacked by almost 30. Yeah. So then it's like, some of them not playing you because it's kind of like this is the reality versus
Well, and the Purdue coach got on there and made a good case, Matt Painter, about we've played them. We played this team, Akron. We played them. All these things. So from Purdue's standpoint, they've done that, but some of these other teams avoid them. Like, any of the teams that don't want to lose to Miami, Ohio.
You know what I didn't think about doing that would have been a good thing was to see how far a mid-major has made it. Because I remember George Mason made it really far.
To the Final Four.
Yeah. But I don't know how I don't know how.
What's the name made it to the Final Four, too? Wichita State. I want to say it was Wichita State with Fred Van Vliet. And
they had a run.
Yeah, they had a run.
VCU.
And then you remember the other one, the older lady, Loyola
Chicago.
Oh, right.
Loyola, Chicago. That's hard to get out.
So, and the mid-major, and see, this is the thing, too. Now, this is a little different. But mid-majors or Cinderellas are not the same. Mm-hmm. And the reason why, because when you look at the players on their team, they are getting players that came down. Mm-hmm. Like, it used to be just a run-of-the-mill, somebody that came from JUCO or somewhere.
Right.
But now they're literally, like High Point had the guy from Kentucky. Like, the lower-tier schools now are it's kind of a little more even than what it used to be.
Which makes it exciting.
Yeah.
One of the things that also was kind of a storyline that I heard just a little bit on both sides, men's and women's, but was like the refs became kind of I know I don't want to get too in the woods or in the weeds in the weeds about the refs.
Serious if you're getting in the woods.
That's the next level, past the weeds. So no, but this personally upset me because I was rooting for Santa Clara against Kentucky. I had them in my bracket, and at the end of that game, like 2 seconds left or whatever, the coach for Santa Clara called a timeout.
He did.
After his team scored. To go
And
ahead.
the refs did not acknowledge it. And then Kentucky, I mean,
Ortega, away.
I mean, it was
Shot.
Big
it was
shot.
great. Like,
Half court.
Yeah, of course.
kind of like with the sequence with Duke and UConn, like you just can't. Some of these things, it's like this is an unbelievable sequence. Like there's so many ways this could have fallen apart, you know. But I was like, man, I was a little upset about that for a little while, and I don't know if the ref saw him or what, but it was like the coach was doing what he knew he could do to manage the game and put them in a good situation, but the ref missed the call.
Yeah,
That's
there's
tough.
some work to be done on the basketball side. Refs were a little interesting this year,
Yeah.
but like even with the smaller teams, the mid majors, the way the net ranking system is set up, they don't get a fair shake.
No.
And so they're going to get bad seeds constantly because they're not, even if they win certain games or scheduling or whatever it is, they're not going to move up the rankings because they already start down so
Right.
low. And so they have to win and they don't play the schedule to get it up. So it's like it's hard because there's some really, really good mid-majors.
Oh,
but they're not getting a fair shake ranking-wise either because they have to come so far up to actually become ranked and, to move up that way. So it's like
it's
that's what I
not
think.
fair.
Put some mid-majors in more of these early tournaments that are playing. We just mentioned Michigan State and others in there. And,
Give 'em a
hopefully
chance.
they put a good show on. That's the kicker, though. Like that's the tough part.
I think if they were able to play in some of those, that they would get more viewings and fans, and because you get to, like you said, you don't know about them until March. And so you just don't know.
And then not only, even if they lose, they will get more respect, then possibly a better seeding because we know
this is
what they
they're
are
capable of.
what they right what
Right.
because like you said, it's not fair because some of them are playing teams that they really shouldn't play until the second or third round, but they having to start the tournament playing.
Right.
He's like, yeah, you coming out playing the best teams. Like I said, I'm a Duke fan, but seeing Duke play Siena, and I'm like, Siena is not. There's no way this is a 16 seed.
Right.
Like, just looking at them play, it's like, no, this doesn't. But like you said, because they have no wiggle room. Mm-hmm. Like, they have to almost be perfect just to get to the tournament. And then it's like, well, for all your hard work, here's your reward.
Right. Which
and it's money. It's money
Yeah.
involved. You want the bigger programs, the more the following for them to get the opportunities.
Yeah.
the Miami, Ohio thing was crazy because it almost looked like they weren't going to get in because they didn't win their conference championship, but they were undefeated. I was like, they can't do this to this team, and I'm thankful that they didn't because I was like, don't be doing that, please.
Yeah.
But it was close.
But even as you was talking about, even like you was talking about the refs, I watched it. I was watching that Santa Clara game, and I think what he should have done,
The coach.
Now I'm gonna say this. I'm not negating. He called timeout.
Yeah.
But he went at the ref that was furthest away from him. He should have went at the one that was closest. I feel like it could have gave him a better chance. But I mean, it's tough because refs they have the potential to decide the outcomes of games. But then sometimes you have to look at it like, okay, they're human too. Like,
sure.
Yeah.
like so that's what's kind of tough because I was in that moment. You looking like. And I feel like we failed to remember they're human. Mm-hmm. So when all of this is going on, you got to think it's a lot going on. So they could be just as I'm gonna say shocked and out of it like we are watching it. You know what I mean?
And their point of focus is the court. They're not going to be scanning to see, is this coach going to
Well, and you're getting the absolute best effort from both teams. This is the time, and so it's extremely physical. Game's even faster than it is before, and so there's a lot of quick decisions that have to be made, and so it's
it's
tough.
a lot on the line.
They train for it, they're prepared for it, but it's tough.
a lot.
It's a lot.
So let me ask you this, and I'm not just going back, but the headbutt.
Oh yeah.
No. This is the reason why I say that, because if this is a normal situation,
It's totally
like it ain't even, you know what I'm saying? But that's one of those situations where even though I'm on the losing side,
So he's referring to Dan Hurley after Mullins made that crazy 3-point shot to take the lead over Duke.
Was the
that
game
he had
over?
This weird. Yes, there was 0.3 seconds left or whatever.
Okay.
But Dan Hurley put his head on the ref. It was like a headbutt, head hug, whatever people want to call it.
They called it a head hug. Oh my gosh, that requires.
And just
that's like
put his head on the ref like
stretch.
that. Not quite sure why that happened, but
and this is what I'm gonna say. Even though I'm a Duke fan, I know the ref can't call that.
Yeah.
I know he can't because that's going to decide the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that changes the whole. But in that same instance, I'm just thinking about the reality of refereeing because it's like if this was a regular game,
they would call it. Get out of my face.
Like you don't do that,
Yeah.
you know. And so
That's tough.
You know, but you know, you was just talking about those refs. I'm like, man, they have a tough job.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
They have
Absolutely.
a tough job.
And I think that I can get like, you know, fouls are what they are. I mean, it's frustrating because it stops the game a lot if they're calling something really tight. But to miss certain things, or I don't know, it can get especially if it's deciding a game. You're like, man, I hate that because it could have gone the other way. But that's one thing that I do love about March Madness that I learn every year too, more and more, is game management. Like what a coach can do to manage the game. And sometimes it's surprising, like when do you decide to let your team play it out? I got 2 timeouts. Do I call a timeout? Like just the decisions they got to make in those like last minutes of the game. It's crazy.
That's something. I'm gonna say this. Like I said, a Duke fan. Of course, I work for Mississippi State, so I'm a Mississippi State guy. But to see Duke lose 3 games that they were all 3 games they lost this year, they were up by 19 points.
Yikes! Yeah, that's
so it's
rough.
like, and then you was up in the Final Four last year with 2 minutes to go, 10 plus. It's like, okay, at some point, like you saying, game management, different things like that. And so I think that's a real thing. But I will say that, and Justin, you can help me with this, the NBA ref who was betting on games, you remember he was calling them a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think about, like, does that go on? Because even with the national championship game, Justin made a statement. He says, UConn already got 10 fouls. Like,
Right.
And I'm like, and when you watch the game, and this is what I'm saying, because if this guy the man breathed on him and you called a foul.
Right.
And then on this end, he got hit across the head and nothing was, it's like, okay, it makes you wonder. You know?
sure.
And if for that specific instance, I didn't get to watch the full game, but a lot of the analysts were saying, like, look, UConn's strategy was to be physical and to try to get Michigan out of the rhythm, to have long possessions, stuff like that. And so that was a part of the game plan.
And it backfired.
And,
it kept them in the game.
they didn't expect Michigan to make 20 straight free throws.
They were banking on. They were like putting.
They're gonna wear them down.
And they made
Gotcha.
20 straight free throws.
Man.
So Michigan won a different way. Now, that was the worst shooting game of Michigan's entire season.
It was.
So UConn's plan worked. They just made the free throws.
Yeah, they just cashed in.
And UConn was overmatched. They knew that.
Yeah.
So this was the
way
route to try to win.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I have other basketball stuff we could talk about as far as like some of the things I noticed during March Madness, but we're gonna move on to this before we move on to more, edifying topic maybe. But I had a question for you guys. What's the best guess of teams who have won the most, like some winning programs that don't get talked about as much, like kind of get overlooked? Can you think of any? I have the answers. in
They
my
get
head.
overlooked.
But are have pretty outstanding winning percentages. Can you guess?
Everybody talks about the Blue Bloods,
Yeah, what is a blue blood? I had to look this up.
So
Speaking of, good.
Well, a lot of them are blue.
Yes.
that's crazy that a lot of them are blue.
Okay, that's why I thought they
Literally.
were called that.
A lot of them literally have blue in them. That's crazy. I just thinking about
what
that.
is a blue blood?
It's like blue bloods are like programs in basketball or whatever sport. They are the top tier programs. I'm gonna say this: once every 5 years, they're gonna be in the Final Four, or like football, they'll be in the college playoff. Right there at the championship, like those are like the top tier programs.
So, like, you didn't know pickleball. I did not know the true definition of a blue blood. I thought it was that they were blue. We're good. We're not like that they were, but that like it was that the blue bloods are referring to just like Kansas, Duke, UNC, Kentucky. Like that's it.
UConn now, yes.
UConn.
But you have UCLA won a lot, and they would be a blue
UCLA
blood.
dominated.
But see, I was gonna say this
Indiana.
too. I think But see, that's where I think that the conversation shifts amongst generations.
Yeah.
Because, like now, when you consider blue bloods, excuse me, when you consider blue bloods, talking to generations, we look at it different. Like you said, Indiana. Indiana really wouldn't be considered a blue blood according to today's standards because they haven't won.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, but then I'm having to that's why I said generations because I can talk to somebody younger than me, and I may say like football USC is a blue blood, but it's generation because they haven't won lately. But there was once a time they were every year. But talking to someone younger, they're like, USC is not a blue. They're not good. So I'm like, well, some of this is subjective according to time and generations. But most of the teams you name will be considered, blue blood programs. Like you said, UConn, Michigan. You could say, well, would you say they're blue blood?
No,
not yet.
Not yet.
Well, but they're knocking on the door.
No.
Well, we could say because they played in the championship a few years ago. They won it.
Now in football, they would be considered that.
Yeah.
See, that's what I didn't even know. I didn't even know blue blood referred to anything outside of those 4 teams in basketball.
Oh yeah. Well, football is kind of like blue blood programs.
Like I did not know that people use that term in other sports.
Yeah.
Like I've only heard it in context to basketball and to those teams that had blue. Anyway, so this is a learning podcast too.
I'm trying to see, is there anybody? Well, I'm gonna say when you talk about teams that have won. Now I'm gonna tell you this. So I would say at Butler, they're a respectable basketball program.
Mm-hmm.
Like they pretty much they win. I think about Brad Stevens before he went to Boston.
Mm-hmm.
They were phenomenal. I mean, they haven't been good lately.
Do you think Gonzaga is in that?
Yeah. Nah. I see
really
Gonzaga to me is almost like a blue blood.
They haven't won a title though.
But see, that's the thing. They haven't won a title, but they done been there so much.
I know. He's got to get him one. Can you name any other? I'm trying to shield mine. You have any guesses? I'll give you a hint. One team has a very seasoned, legacy coach, still coaching.
Hold on. One team has a
Current.
Izzo?
No.
Or are you talking about?
Hold on.
Come on, Justin.
You said
can do it.
legacy.
They just renewed his contract. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, St. John's.
Yes.
You got to be talking about Patino.
Patino.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I gave good hints.
Well,
Darius
I said
got
that
it.
because we played them. You
Yeah.
got to think.
St.
So he's a
John's
little
does have
fresh.
a rich history.
So they
They got a rich history, yeah.
Yeah, they started in 1908 and their winning percentage is 64%. It's anyways.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're one that I feel like they don't get talked about a ton.
Well, because they were nothing for a while.
Yeah.
But they're in the conversation. On this list also has Temple. That was the one that probably surprised me the most.
Oh yeah.
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 I was like,
John
okay.
Cheney. Yeah.
And then even before then.
Notre Dame, and then we have UCLA.
Notre Dame?
That's on the list. They said they're one of
Wow.
the winningest schools in both basketball and football.
That's because they started before everybody else.
1897.
I'm going to say, yeah. I'm like, Notre
They got all their
Dame?
wins in
You know, their
before.
wins early against
That's
Army and
crazy
Navy.
to think about that. Stop.
Oh,
my
wow.
gosh. I mean, that's crazy to think they were playing basketball in 1900. Anyway, Syracuse
We got to
is
be
on
careful
the list.
bashing Notre Dame with
Yeah.
Stoker.
Yeah. Stoker, don't get mad. Syracuse.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, and then of course you have Duke, North Carolina. Can you guess the one with the highest winning percentage? They've been a disappointment to me the past 5 years.
What, Kansas?
Yes, Kansas.
Really?
I grew up watching them. A friend of mine really liked Kansas, and so I just got on the Jayhawk bandwagon.
Every time Bethany picks Kansas for the NCAA tournament, they lose.
Yeah, so in recent years, I'm like, you're not going to make it past the second round. I'm not trusting you.
You already know.
I have
huh?
trust relationships with Kansas. Yeah. So anyway, that was what I wanted to do for the stretch time today. So thanks for entertaining those things of basketball. I do want to mention this because I noticed it so much more. And Darius, maybe because you're around men's basketball, you can tell me if this is basketball terminology that I've just completely missed, or if this is a new thing. Efficiency. People talk about efficiency of possessions.
That's a real thing.
But have you always heard that term?
No.
I feel like that's a
not
very
necessarily.
new
Yeah,
thing.
not
Well, I think
necessarily.
they measure it more. They
I think
measure more of offensive
Okay.
efficiency. So how productive are you on your possessions?
Yes.
Right.
Like what is,
Which is great.
and
I
I-
wish we would have
Yeah.
had that back whenever I was playing.
Well, I think that what he's saying is connected with analytics, though.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
the analytics grew, that type of stuff started to grow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
But
you
I
know,
mean, it was like
yeah, it
on
wasn't
every
yeah.
broadcast, it was like efficient. Arizona's so efficient. Arizona's so, and I'm like,
And you know, I'm gonna say, like, I wasn't paying attention to it as much until, like I said, being around like the basketball team here.
Yeah.
They got the guys. I can't think of the coach's name right now. Who kind of does the video? He breaks down, and it's like the analytics that goes into it. It kind of it's amazing to hear that, and then actually see a team play and see that
right.
carried out.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't watch much Arizona, but I'm like, how are they scoring 100 points and only shooting 5 threes?
Right.
Like they are like I'm like that's almost unheard of. Like, and it's not they're playing fast, but when you look at the analytics, how they're maximizing every possession, like they don't have a lot of wasted possessions,
Right.
not a lot of turnovers and stuff like that, and then doing breaking it down to offensive rebound. Like it was amazing to kind of see all of the small intricate details that go along with them being who they are, and then you able to see the difference between when they played Michigan. It's like two great offenses in different ways, and you saw the one win out.
Right.
You know, and so it's a real thing now. Like it's something that I'm a little more alert and looking for.
Yeah, I'm
now.
going to be looking for that
Yeah,
whenever.
yep.
It's so crazy how like just something that people start talking about becomes like a lens that you see through.
Yep.
And I mean, what we had for analytics was assist turnover ratio. That was
Gotcha,
it. That
gotcha.
was like,
That
are
was
we
it.
taking care of the ball?
Well,
Are we?
every year there's a new phrase in any kind of sport they're trying to throw out there to get out there. Like for football recently, it's been playing complementary football.
Right.
You hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Defense and offense bounce off each other, special teams.
Yeah.
They're all kind of working together, you know, and it's like complementary
Complementary
football.
football.
Thank you.
Right.
That's been the phrase. So now when you're a, analyst for the game, you throw that out there, you're
I
in.
got to come
Yeah.
up with something. I got to be able to look at a sport and be like, what is the thing that, what's the new thing that we should look for that will make us more successful?
So baseball, what is that? What would you say?
Oh, y'all were talking about that. What is it called? They mentioned it on the broadcast last night that you have access to you and Sarah Adams were talking about this the other day.
Oh, just the TrackMan?
Yeah, what the heck is a TrackMan?
Well, it gets like that, like for TrackMan with the
But
pitchers.
wait. Is it a camera? Is it a catapult like what the athletes wear? Like what is this?
No, it's a camera.
Okay.
It picks up the ball speed and
Okay.
like the spin rates and all the different things that
Okay.
are going on.
Because
with
when
it.
I hear TrackMan, I'm seeing a little image of like a
yeah,
TrackMan.
well
But
they
you're
they
talking
get it.
about
So
like
now
a-
you can know. Okay,
There he is.
Ace Reese hit a ball 103 miles an hour off the bat.
Yes.
and it went that many feet. Like it
It's
gets
tracking
it.
that.
Yeah, it tracks
Okay.
all that stuff.
All right. Got it.
Like,
Different type of track.
on it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the pitcher side, the ones they have in the lab and things, can get the spin rate, horizontal, vertical movement patterns of everything. So you
But
see
I've
what your pitches
noticed
are
that
doing.
people are saying that more too. Like this pitcher's like spin rate, blah blah blah. I'm like, what in the?
yeah.
What is this?
Yeah, they get all
He has the
excited about it.
highest RPM something or other.
Yeah, so,
It's almost like they are keeping stats on everything. He stands three inches left of the plate and throws it 4 inches right. Like it's like
One of the things that we've laughed about both in the Olympics and these other broadcasts and stuff is like the such and such of this century, and our kids are like, dude, it's been 26 years. Just say of this decade or something. It's like so dramatic.
dramatic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a part of it though.
Anyways, it is crazy. Anyway, all right. So on Monday night at the Huddle, Taylor Pitts is going to come and speak. She is a fan favorite and also very much a friend of FCA and of us at this table.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so we're excited to have her at FCA. She's going to talk about becoming rooted. So I just wanted to end this podcast, wrap up with just talking about our thoughts on becoming rooted. We don't have her notes. We don't know what she's going to say as we're recording this podcast, but we thought that we would just chime in a little bit for some extra content. So becoming rooted, what is that? Oh, also, I didn't say, but Taylor Pitts, if you don't know, is athletic trainer, women's basketball here. All right. So becoming rooted, what does that mean to you, or what are your first thoughts on that topic?
I mean, I just think of a tree.
Yeah.
Thinking of plants. Like there is nothing underneath the ground is the most solid structural, foundational part of a tree, and it's where nutrients come from. Mm-hmm. You got a bad root system, the tree's not healthy.
Man, when we visited my sister in Utah, and when we were on a hike, we saw aspen trees.
No, they're amazing.
Yeah, wow. And I was like, these are really cool, but you don't see them at certain elevations. You got to get to a certain point, right? And then Justin was telling me, because he knows about this stuff, what they do, and it's pretty cool. So
they lock onto each other's root systems.
Wow.
So it's like a network.
Yeah. Like if one is needing more nutrients or whatever, they can send that through their roots.
Send it through, and it's like the networks, I want to say it can be up to miles of the network connections.
God is amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It is.
And they're at certain elevations. Like they're not going to survive in certain places up until you get to a certain height. If I'm saying that right.
Just think about that with friends in like community and connections, to be rooted together in that way, to support each other that way. It's pretty significant, because we think of like being rooted of like being connected to Christ, right? Being rooted, in Christ into something. But man, being rooted to each other,
yeah,
as well.
Mm-hmm.
When you said that, my mind went to the unseen process.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like when you think about roots, we don't see roots a lot of times. No. You see them coming out of the ground, but I'm saying, like, I was just thinking about the unseen part of the process that is so beneficial to what we're going to become. Mm-hmm. And I think just for that, and I'm really interested in what Taylor's going to bring, because I think about the encouragement to continue to stay with a process that may not initially seem like it's producing, but it's an unseen settling, an unseen building underground that's going to allow everything that we're becoming to come forth. So when you said that, that's what I was just thinking about. A lot of times when the roots are being formed, they're being strengthened, they're being groomed, we're not seeing that.
Right.
It
doesn't feel like probably a lot of work is being done either.
And underneath too, like roots, when it's dry, they have to go deeper to go find the moisture and find the water.
Man.
And so they have to really stretch. And so the root system gets bigger and larger and expands under dry seasons. All right. So if you have a lot of water, so if you got a new plant, you want to make sure it has enough water, enough moisture for a while. Okay. And so you get it going and get established. It's great. But if you overwater it, the roots will not expand, because it's always going to have water. And so the roots are short. And so if you just, so you're not helping the growth. And
so you're telling me sometimes there has to be a moment of I'm going to say, nothingness to give the roots an opportunity to expand.
Yeah. Like you need to get things started and water them daily, but then there's a point where you need to let it go multiple days without them getting water so they can start expanding beyond.
Wow. That is...
So that gives a stronger structure for the tree, and then when the winds come, now when the outer stuff happens, it is strong enough to uphold, like to hold up all those. Yeah, and then wind impacts like trees as well, like, things like that. So you got to have, it's just a variety of factors that play into it. And then you think about our lives,
right?
And how that's why you see these examples in Scripture a lot, because for one, we understand it and it makes sense, but then we see it too, and it was like, oh wow, that's kind of like our lives.
I just think that's the hard part of the work in your as you mature, that time where the roots are developing or growing or whatever, is because it's not flashy. There's nothing that you get to see as a result. Like I'm currently in our yard right now trying to make this area where we have planted some things look a little bit more purposeful, because it's a little bit of a modge podge of things. And I'm like, come on, tree. Like, I just want to see the flowers, or I just want to see, whatever. And I'm like, we're going to have to do what Justin said. Like, put it in the ground, water it, leave it alone for a few days, water it again, whatever. And I don't know this stuff, which is going to be a great transition into, we're going to have Jeremiah come and talk about vegetable garden on an episode some point this spring. So maybe he can tell us more about that. But it is like, I want to see the result more than I want to do this initial part of like, is the soil ready? How far do you go down? Like, how much do you prime this thing to be able to
Are they even in the right environment? So
Right.
is the soil the right environment? Is it too acidic, or is it too, is the pH too high? So like if you can, everything doesn't grow in the perfect environments.
Man.
Like in certain.
I wish
certain environments.
I knew my wife. She we had a plant one time that I do not. I'm gonna have to get the name of this plant, but it was one that needed sunlight, but it couldn't be in too cool of a temperature, or it would die. So she come up with the bright idea to open the window and trying to let the sun from outside shine in on the plant, while keeping it inside because it was too cold outside. And every day I would come, them petals are, and but it goes back to what you were saying. The environment, it was nothing wrong with the plant, but the environment was prohibiting the plant from growing. And so when you was talking about what you were saying, even as it relates to what you're doing at your house, it just made me think about that. And then another thing I was thinking too, rooted, and you was talking about how they expand, the roots expand. To become rooted, it requires determination. Like you have to be determined to go through that process to become what you need to become. Because like you got to think, if I'm not getting any water and then I start expanding, looking, that to me says determination. Like I'm not just gonna
wait.
I'm going after something.
Yeah,
I'm going after. And so when you were saying that, it just made me think, and I think a lot, man, we may need to just do a study on trees. I think we can learn a lot about just being rooted, like you're saying, rooted together, talking about the environment, and even just being rooted enough that when things come, like the wind, like all these different things come, we'll be able to be firm and knowing as far as what God is doing in our life. But like I'm excited. It just built more excitement for me to hear, what she's going to say, to kind of apply just to my life. Just from the aspect of, like you said, being rooted. Because like even when y'all was talking about the aspen tree, you think about like it pushes us to not be isolated.
Right.
Like we grow connected together, but it's almost like no one has to go lacking because we're all providing, what we need amongst each other.
Yeah.
Right. So that I'm excited. I am.
One of the things that Taylor mentioned was that she was playing pickleball, and a former student athlete was in town and came up, and just in that conversation that the girl was like, man, my faith in God has like strengthened so much after college. Like it has, and I don't know if she used the word rooted, but that's what she was describing. And it just made me think about how sometimes especially if you're in the same environment, like it can, and you're not like, you are going through very hard things in college. So I don't mean to like minimize that, but sometimes you're in an environment that you can be used to it and become a little bit more predictable, although day-to-day things change, but you're not like always dealing with a lot of variables every day that are like so different. Like if you were to be in a city and a job and you're like figuring out all these things, like you're coming to a campus, you're coming to the track, you're coming to the gym, like you have some things that are set that you're just familiar with. And so I think it sometimes can make you feel like you're rooted because things are familiar. Right. But you really don't know until you get out there and you figure out, like you kind of get tested a little bit. Like, was I really just familiar with my environment and with the people around me? Yeah. Or was I really rooted because I feel comfortable here too? I can thrive here. And sometimes you need life to test you in that way a little bit. Yeah. But it just made me think about athletes, just, how that can feel in that transition, a little bit like, this is uncomfortable. And so the work that you do in that unseen time, that internal work, that connecting with other people, connecting with the Lord, like all of that is so important, even if you're not seeing this dramatic fruit from it, because it'll set you up well when you make that transition out of college. Yeah.
Real fruit doesn't come until multiple years from fruit trees. Like there's fruit that shows up, but it ain't good fruit.
Well, we have an olive tree, which I know nothing about olive trees. So this is like a whole experiment here. But I think I read something like they don't produce anything for like 2 years or 3 years.
Oh, well, there's many trees that it's like 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
You know, like
and see, that's like, in me, I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I want to eat the olive, but I want to see that you can do it.
Yeah.
Can you do it for me, please?
Hey.
We were looking at another tree this morning, and I was like, I think this one's dead. Like, and I don't think this is going to do very good. But
Wow. That's but when you were saying, even Bethany, what you were saying, it made me think about when you was talking about that student that Taylor was, that former student Taylor was talking with. It was a thing they used to say is a faith that hasn't been tried can't be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so the trying of your faith is actually the proving and the revelation of it. And then I was even thinking how you can couple that with what Justin said, because sometimes here, you may be in an environment where I don't want to say we're giving them too much water or a lot
Sure.
of water, but it's like when you
There's
get away.
resources. Yeah.
And when you get away, you don't have some of those resources. So you have to,
go find them.
hey, got to go and you're a little more, I'm going to say, intentional.
Right.
Because it's like here, we're kind of, everybody's trying to give to you, but
Right.
once you get out of an environment of so much giving, you have to kind of go, like you said, look for. You kind of have to go and seek out. And I think that a lot of them will see. It's not to discourage that. We want you to continue to be here,
Right.
but a lot of things, like you said, the fruit of what you're doing now, a lot of that will start coming to fruition after you have transitioned to other things, and you'll be able to look back and see, man, this was that seed was there, but that fruit is here,
Yeah.
And so we've had those testimonies. I think about the young lady father who came. He was a former football player. I can't think of his name now, but he was saying how one of the coaches came in and really just talked to him. He was going through a lot of different things, and this is where he got introduced to God, and now he's a pastor.
Yeah.
And his daughter is coming to FCA. So it's like, I believe that's some of the things we'll continue to see.
Yeah, that's good. Trees are pretty wild too, because you can actually cut a branch off from the mother tree, the tree that you want the DNA to be in, like be replicated, and you can put a little gash in the tree, the other trees, and then wrap that branch in there and like put it in that gap.
That is,
Wrap it up real tight, put like the necessary things for it, and the DNA of the mother tree will actually infiltrate the rest of that tree.
that is,
So then you have matching DNA for the fruit trees that you have, all because of from the best tree you get a branch from and do. It's crazy. So then we're talking about being grafted in.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
That we're all grafted in.
Man.
It's wild. I mean, the comparisons and how trees operate, and there's so many
we might have
stories.
to have the next stretch time can be about trees. I
Man,
gotta
I'm
look
gonna
up
have
some
to
facts.
I'm gonna have to do a study on trees. I'm missing out.
You are missing out. So one thing I was going to say, and we'll wrap up, is that you were talking about how the resources, if we compare them to just a plant getting water all the time, I do think that can feel a little bit like what it's like to be a college athlete.
Mm-hmm.
The work is very hard, so I think the resources are phenomenal, and I think they should be there. But I do think that sometimes, and this happens to everybody, not just athletes, but you don't really realize the resources you had easily at your disposal until you leave.
Yeah.
And you realize, oh, I'm going to have to go find those. So I think even if you don't realize it or don't use them or utilize them as much as maybe you could, I do think it's good to learn what those resources are as far as being rooted so that you can go find them. I mean, I think that being here, there were things that I learned and valued being part of FCA and getting to see, like, even not even FCA related, but just being part of the basketball program, our boosters, getting to know them, that I learned to look for those valuable resources when I left. And I do hope people can use the resources that they've been given easily here, because they're so accessible, and it will not be like that. This is not a Debbie Downer statement. It just, like, life doesn't work like that. They will not be available to you as easily, as readily available as they are now. And so I hope people are embracing that. But also noting at the same time, these are the things that are healthy and good for me, that help me become rooted even when I leave. And now I can go look for those things to expand my roots. But anyway, Justin, did you have anything you wanted to say on that?
Well, I mean, there's so many resources. There's so much available. You can feel like flooded
Yeah, like the plant. That's what I'm saying.
You're totally flooded, but at the same time, like with the, oh man, it was right there. I've heard many of the athletes talk about feeling like they're robots.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because everything's scheduled and this is what they do and this is how they're, this like the growth, this is what they're supposed to produce. And so much so, like, when you get flooded, there's initial growth and all those things, like all of it. But there's a point where it's like, oh, I can't breathe.
Yes.
You know, I have no room to breathe and just expand. And, like, I think that's where, man, great coaching comes in.
Yeah.
And just being encouraged of, like, this is formation.
Yeah.
You don't have, every journey is different.
Yeah, and just like I was saying, like, just take note of what those things are, because it might not be that you need all that right now, but learn to look for it so that you can find it when you need it. Okay, well, that's the podcast for today. Thanks for listening. It was so fun to get back at the table. Hopefully we got any rust that we might have had off. I feel like, you know, it's fun to just start a conversation and get going again. And also Justin might have given us a good stretch topic if nothing else comes between now and next week to talk more about trees.
We'll be arborist.
Arborist next week. Maybe it'll be the official. Have we already passed the official day of spring?
Yeah.
First day of spring. It was
so.
like several weeks ago. That's when I was out of commission probably. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. If you have any comments, questions, challenges, whatever, feel free to comment. And we'll look forward to talking to you and talking with each other, having a good conversation, having a good hang next week. Thanks for listening to the Created to Be podcast. To learn more about FCA at Mississippi State, visit www.msufca.org and follow us on Instagram at HailStateFCA_. If you would like to become a financial partner, visit www.fca.org/donate to sow into the work God is doing through FCA at Mississippi State.